Okay, so some of you may remember it's probably been well over a year now, we purchased a Cargo-Mate 20-foot enclosed cargo trailer, and we did all sorts of upgrades to it. We put all new wheels, tires, suspension, we spray lined the entire inside of it, we basically put different shelves, and I built a shelf up front, all sorts of things to make it a little bit more useful in terms of utility and being able to use it as almost like a mobile workshop. Well, this was one of the items that we installed. This is an aluminum flip-out workbench, and what I mean by that is it's made out of aluminum, so it's really lightweight, but it has these really nice heavy-duty brackets that allow it to flip up and lock in place. We put one of these on the wall because, again, it's lightweight and it isn't going to rust, and we're not going to really have any issues with it, and it's just a really great work surface. It's pretty thick. It looks to be about 1/16 of an inch thick aluminum, and again, it's just a very, very nice and convenient table, plus it looks super, super cool. And we put one of these inside of the trailer, and it just acts as a workbench. So anytime I'm in there working, if I'm trying to, solder anything or put anything together, it just acts as, again, a really, really great workbench for that. Of course, if you're going to be soldering or anything that's really hot, you might want to put something to protect the surface. Anyways, I ordered 2 of these from eTrailer because I'm taking on a home project of trying to organize my garage. I have a lot of stuff that goes on in the garage. I work on my mountain bikes in there. Basically, I work on my mountain bikes in there. I try to do all my own work on the bike, and anytime I have friends over and we're going to be riding together, I work on theirs as well. So I figured this would be a really cool addition to help organize some of the tools and things that I use in there. And we're going to go ahead and mount a couple of these up today and see how they look. So currently I keep most of my tools and equipment for the bikes up here. I have a Pelican case that's full of most of the tools and the different things I'll use, plus I have a case up here that has a lot of bike tools in it. I keep some of the lubricants and stuff here. I have my different Torx and hex wrenches right here that I use to, adjust things, loosen things, just the different things I need to do. And then I keep a lot of the components inside of this drawer. So a lot of the components I take off of the bike end up going in this drawer. But I don't have like a dedicated workbench surface out here. And the reason why is because this garage is used for a lot of different things. And occasionally we'll pull a car onto this side, and I want to be sure that I don't have anything that's permanently in place that I can't remove. Now, probably like a lot of folks, the garage ends up being the place where things go to die, perhaps just stay and never get moved, and that is sometimes the case with us. I put a lot of things up against this wall. My bikes go in here occasionally. It's just a place that we put a lot of stuff when we don't know where to put it, aside from the storage shed that we have or inside. This wall gets beaten up really bad because a lot of stuff ends up sitting against this wall, but we can still fit a car in here if we want to. So we have one car that's already parked in here all the time, and that's my wife's SUV, but on this side it pretty much stays empty, except if we have like dog kennels or we have other things that need to go in here. If we keep our cats in here for whatever reason, this is the place that they kind of go. But this wall right here is the perfect place for those shelves, and we're going to hang a couple of them up today just to help organize things, and I can use them as workbenches if I'm in here, I'm trying to complete a project, and I just need kind of a convenient workspace. I have a workbench on the other side of my wife's vehicle in a little niche that's cut out of the garage, or at least a little niche in the garage that's designed for that, but I don't want to keep walking around. If I have something I need to do over here, I like to be next to the project I'm working on. So we're going to be hanging those shelves right here. I might put one on the bottom and one on the top. That way I have tools right underneath where I'm working. I can grab a drill, I can grab some tool I might need, and then move it to the top bench when I need to use it. Now, something else that's really cool about these little flip-up aluminum tables is that they come with this interesting mounting hardware that give you the ability to quick release or remove the table from the wall if you want to. So you can see this part right here essentially screws into the wall with the included fastener, and then this would just slide over it like this. And these legs pop out. So once they're in place, it's not going to move unless you lift up on the entire assembly, but then you can always drop one screw in to keep it in place so it doesn't move. Now, I specifically don't know why you would want to remove it, and if you had some screws here, you would, probably be in just as good a shape, but it does give you the flexibility of having something like this removable. Now, if you're going to put this in a really tight area and the thickness of this when folded up is still going to kind of intrude into the space that you need available, then yeah, I could absolutely see where you might want to take this off, and this would make it really easy. That way you can put it right back on when you're done. But if you don't need to remove it, if it's going to be permanent and you're not too concerned about how far off the wall this comes even when it's folded up, then I would just recommend using the mounting holes right here to fasten it directly to the wall. That's what we did in the cargo trailer. But it's super easy and it's super lightweight. Typically when you see something like this, you see it as a stainless steel product, and stainless steel is incredibly heavy compared to this really lightweight aluminum. But it's assembled really well, and I really like these brackets right here. They work real well. They're very smooth. So I figured, you know what, I'll get a couple more of these, mount them in the garage, and use them here at the house as well. Now I imagine the one thing you might take out of this video is the fasteners I use. I absolutely love these Wood Pro screws because they have a washer head to them, really wide, super strong screws. They're actually guaranteed never to corrode. They are such a great screw to use. They're self-drilling, so you don't need to pre-drill for these. They're super strong, and they will definitely not be exceeded in terms of overall strength by this table that we have mounted on them. So I love using these. I use these for a lot of different things. They're really nice. The specific size that is kind of my go-to is 1/4 by 2.5 inch, and they come in a box of 50 or more, but I usually buy them 50 at a time. And they are incredibly useful in all sorts of different applications. Now, you want to keep in mind, you don't want to hang something, you know, crazy heavy. You don't want to put 300 or 400 pounds on something like this, or at least each screw. You want to spread that out amongst several, and likely have something that they're mounted to, like a 2x4 or something like that. But for the sake of this table, and the fact that it's never going to have probably over 30 pounds of weight on it, these will work out really well, and I can just use the existing mounting holes that are on the brackets here. Now, something else that I really love about these tables is the fact that they are incredibly lightweight, and I know I mentioned that before because they are aluminum. So once you get one fastener in place, it's super easy to lift the other side up and get it in place. This isn't necessarily something that you need to have a bunch of people working on, especially considering both the brackets are already pre-welded onto the platform, which means you can't mount a bracket one at a time and then put the top on like you might be able to do with wood. But I love the fact that there's no assembly with this thing, so you simply pull it right out of the box, hang it on the wall, and you're done. And the fact that it's aluminum means that it's significantly less weight than wood, and it's significantly less weight than stainless steel. And again, all I have to do is get 2 fasteners started, one on each of these brackets, and the rest of this is cake. I just have to put the rest of them in, secure it in place, and I can hang the shelf above it. So this project is really easy, really quick, and the convenience of having the shelf pre-assembled, made out of aluminum, really comes in handy. Okay, so we got the first one in place. Very secure, very solid. The way you lower it is you look underneath, and then it slides down like that. Check that out. In terms of dimensions, it only sticks off the wall 3 inches if you take into account this little lip right here. Very compact. Overall dimensions, it is 18 inches deep and I believe 46 inches wide. 45.5 inches wide. Very cool. And if you look at the way it mounts, I didn't put the bottom screws in, the very bottom ones yet, but you got plenty of room under here because these brackets don't really angle down too much, so you have a lot of storage room underneath as well. Very cool. We're going to go ahead and mount the second one and wrap the project up. It's always handy when you have something laying around your garage that is specifically the length you need and the width and the rigidity to be able to support what you're trying to do. And my wife has this thing called Pet Maker. It's some kind of indoor puppy pad thing. Anyways, the box is 24 inches tall, which is exactly how high I wanted to mount this shelf above that shelf. And you know, because they're super lightweight and that shelf is already mounted, I'm just going to put it there. I'll put the first screw in, and then I'll use a level to make sure that it's level, drop the second screw in, and we'll pretty much be done as soon as I put the remaining fasteners in. And because the box is pretty much level, the level is level. Now I just need to remove that, put the remaining screws in, and we will be all done. So there we have it. I decided that at the weights we'll be putting on here, I really don't need to put every single fastener in, but it's going to give me the ability to store some things. It'll give me the ability to use it as a workbench. I can even use the lower one as a workbench. The reason why I spaced them like this and didn't put one kind of at the center height, which would have been ideal for an actual workbench, is because I do plan on storing things on here as well. So this gives me the flexibility of using them as a workbench or as storage. But the other reason is because when you're working on bikes, a lot of times you're sitting on a stool and you're kind of low to the ground. And when you're low to the ground, it helps to have something at your height that you're not reaching up to try to grab small little parts, especially if you're dealing with brake components or chains, things that could easily fall off and get lost or get dirty if they fall onto an unclean surface. So this is it. I mean, these aren't the least expensive solution to this problem, but they are definitely a high quality one. Typically, when you see shelving systems, you can go to Lowe's or Home Depot, and they can range anywhere from super cheap if you just buy some brackets. But keep in mind, the cheap brackets are a far cry in terms of price and quality from an expensive bracket. An expensive bracket can cost, upwards of $25 a bracket. A cheap bracket can cost anywhere, between $1 or $2 per bracket. But the hinged style like this that lock in place are relatively expensive, let alone all the other stuff you have to buy to assemble everything. And once you're done, you're going to have probably a pretty good product that will work well. The difference between this and that is that this is all prefabbed. It is aluminum, so it's really lightweight, it's very sturdy, and it's all pretty much assembled. So this project, had I done it out of wood, probably would have taken me, an hour or two, maybe a little bit less depending on how I wanted to build it, but I likely would have used flip-up brackets. I likely would have done it a little bit differently. Then I would have had to go and cut all the lumber to do it. But the fact is, this assembly right here is just super easy, fastens right in place, it's super strong, very convenient, it looks really nice. I can buy more of these and just kind of continue down the wall if I want, and honestly, it's just a really, really great quality product. So that's the reason why I ultimately ended up going with these versus running down to Lowe's or Home Depot and kind of putting something together. Now, I'm not saying this is the solution for everybody, but I definitely like it. I liked it when I installed it in the cargo trailer, and the convenience of it just makes it really nice for my application. Anyways, guys, I sure hope you enjoyed this video. I'll put a link to these in the description of this video if this is something you might be interested in. Again, kind of purposely built for a cargo trailer, but the application for these is almost endless, considering you can put these in almost any type of structure, including a shed, garage. You could even put these in your toy hauler in the back if you want them, and they're going to look nice. They're not going to look like you just kind of pieced something together. Anyways, I'll put a link in the description if you are interested in these. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon. And in case you're wondering, this is my daughter's. It's her little #1 racer, what she calls it, and it is super cool. It's just a little slower than I thought it would be, but she enjoys it, so it has a place in the garage. Guys, I'll talk to you again soon.